In this video, we're going to learn about strategies for finding the whole when you're looking at a part-whole box. So the strategies we'll cover is count all, count on, skip counting, and adding. In a previous video, we learned about finding the missing part by a couple of different strategies. And so today we're going to just look at how we can find the whole. So the first strategy is counting all. So if I have two parts here, I have one part in the red and one part in the yellow. One way to find how many I have as my whole, because I put my two parts together to make my whole, is to count all. So this is a model of what counting all might look like. I would start with one of the circles or counters, and I would count each and every single one. It would sound like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I counted every single one. You can see that because now they're blue and I put a number on them. So counting all, I touch and count each and every single piece that's in my problem. So now I know by counting every single one, or counting all, that I have 9. Another strategy we can use is counting on. When I use counting on, I'm going to find a group that I can recognize easily and then count on from there. This is a little bit more efficient of a strategy because I don't have to take the time to count each and every single piece within the parts. So I like to look for patterns that I see like on a dice. So for example, in my parts here, I have a part over here that looks like a dice, as well as a part over here that looks like a dice. So I can see over here that this is a 5 and this is a 4. Now when I count on, I'm going to try and find the bigger part so that it takes me less time to count. So in this case, the bigger part is over here. I can see that there are 5, like there would be 5 on a dice. So when I'm counting on, I can say 5. I don't have to count each of them because I already recognize easily that there are 5. But then I can count on what's after that by counting the rest of my counters, or my yellow counters. So it would sound like this: 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I didn't have to count these ones because I already recognized that that was a group of 5, but I counted on until the rest of my counters were included to make my whole. So now I know that there are 9. Another way that we can find our whole is by skip counting. We've already learned different ways to skip count, and some common numbers to skip count by are 2, 5, and 10. You have to determine which one might be best, and so I have to be able to make at least 2 or more groups of that number to skip count by. So I couldn't make a 10 because I don't see groups of 10, and I can't really do a 5 because there's only one group of 5 in this case, so it wouldn't really help me to count by 5s. But I do see that I could make a couple of groups of 2. So if I look here, I can have a 2, another group, and another group. So I can see that there's 4 groups of 2, so I can easily count by 2s. I do have one that's left over, but we'll talk about what we do with that later. So if I'm skip counting, I'm going to keep these groups in mind, and I'm going to skip count, in this case, by 2s. So it would sound like this: 2, 4, 6, 8. Now I don't have another whole group of 2, I just have one left over. So I'm going to have to combine my skip counting and counting on strategy in this case and count on by 1s. So I already did 2, 4, 6, 8 with my groups of 2. Now I have one more there, and that's going to be 9. So now I know that there are 9 altogether. Now I am going to show you one last strategy that's a little bit trickier and can be used later on when you can easily see groups and when you're feeling comfortable with adding numbers easily. Games like Extra Math and our fact practice on MobyMax are really going to help us with this strategy, but we can do adding as well. So if I see 2 groups here, I have one part on one side that's a group of 5, and I see another group on the other side in yellow that's a group of 4. So I have a group of 5 and a group of 4. Those are my 2 parts. Now in a part-whole box, we know that we put both parts together to get to the whole, and that's the same as adding. So if I think about an addition symbol in between the 2 parts, I can make an equation to help myself. So now I have 5 plus 4. If I know my addition facts, then I already know that 5 plus 4 equals 9. So 5 plus 4 equals 9. I know that 9 is the whole because I added. We did 4 different strategies today. We counted all, we counted on, we skip counted, and we added. Each of those strategies can be really useful for you as you're finding the whole between 2 numbers, but you have to find which one works best for you. And in our classroom, it doesn't matter which one you use, as long as you have one that you can consistently use correctly to get the right answer. It's always useful to try 2 different strategies, and if you come up with the same answer using 2 strategies, then you've probably got the right answer. Today you're going to have an opportunity to show your knowledge about this, and you'll have a paper that looks like this. You will be finding you'll be finding the whole, and some of them you'll be finding the part. We had that previous video that will also be linked on Seesaw so that you can review that if you're not sure on how to find the missing part. You can rewatch that video to help yourself with some of those strategies. Here are your jobs for today. You have your seat work page to show that you can find missing parts and the missing whole. That goes in the turn-in bin when you're finished. Your must-do for today on Seesaw is to take 1 picture of a problem on the page that you did today. It can be any of the problems. And then you're going to record your voice explaining how you found the missing part or the missing whole. So you might say, for this problem, I found the missing part by, and you would explain which strategy you used and how you used it. When you're finished, you can practice your fact practice on whichever way you want, MobyMax or Extra Math. And then you can choose either a partner game or one of our math apps such as Prodigy or some of the other apps that we have on there. Using these strategies can help you efficiently find the missing part or the missing whole. If you need to rewatch the video, feel free to do that as many times as you need to be successful.